look, don't shoot me, I'm just a messenger. Now, have you ever been so helpful, so available, and so friendly to people that you start slowly losing yourself? You say yes when you want to say no, and you keep the peace even if it costs your peace. You smile on the outside, but on the inside you feel frustrated, drained, and unseen. So here's the truth that nobody ever told you. Kindness without boundaries becomes self-betrayal, because God never called you to be a doormat for people. He called you to be a light to people. So in this teaching, we're going to learn how to be friendly, loving, and Christ-like without losing your identity, your peace, or your voice. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is the danger of being too nice. Now, many people think being friendly means saying yes to everything, never disagreeing, avoiding conflict, and always trying to make people happy. Now, that's not biblical kindness, that's people pleasing. And the problem with always trying to please people is that you slowly abandon yourself in order to gain acceptance from others that you might not even need the acceptance from. And eventually you begin to feel resentment, burnt out, or emotionally exhausted. Now, the Bible addresses this clearly in the book of Galatians 1 verse 10, where the Apostle Paul says, "Am I trying to win the approval of human beings or of God?" Meaning, in other words, you can't live for approval by people and try to please God at the same time. It just won't work. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is how Jesus was a kind man, but he was never controlled. One of the biggest misconceptions about Christianity is that being loving means being passive. But when you study Jesus Christ, you also discover something very powerful, that Jesus was compassionate, loving, patient, kind, but he was also honest, direct, and he also set boundaries. For example, in Mark 1 verse 35 through 38, when crowds were looking for him because all they wanted him to do was heal and do miracles, but instead of staying and trying to please everyone, Jesus said something very powerful. He said, "Let us go somewhere else." You see, he understood what many people struggle with today, and that is, just because people want access to you, that doesn't mean that they're entitled to it. Even God himself protected his time, his mission, and his energy. Alright, now I want to talk about why people lose themselves. Now, people lose themselves in relationships for 3 reasons. Number 1, fear of rejection. Some people may think, if I say no, they might not like me. But if someone only likes you when you agree with them, they don't like you. They like your compliance. Number 2, desire for validation. You see, when your identity depends on other people's approval, you start shaping your personality around their expectations, and then you become whoever people want you to be. But the Bible teaches our identity comes from God. You see, if you look at Ephesians 2 verse 10, it says, "We are God's workmanship, created for his purpose." That means our worth was never supposed to come from human approval. And number 3, avoiding conflict. You see, many people think peace is no disagreement, but in reality, truth with love is real peace. You see, when you avoid conflict, this often leads to silent frustration, suppressed emotions, and unhealthy relationships. So what we must understand is that healthy relationships can handle honest conversations. All right, now I want to talk about the power of boundaries. Now, a boundary is a line that protects your peace, your energy, and your values. Without boundaries, people will overstep with disrespect, or you'll become overwhelmed with negative energy. You see, boundaries are not about pushing people away. They're about teaching people how to treat you. Even Jesus set boundaries. Sometimes he withdrew from the crowd, sometimes he walked away, and sometimes he even said hard truths. But the most important thing is, he always did it with love and clarity. All right, now let's talk about the 3 ways you can be friendly without losing yourself. 1, be kind but honest. You don't have to agree with everyone to respect them. For example, you can say, "I understand your perspective, but I see it differently." You see, honesty with kindness, this is what builds real relationship and not fake harmony. Number 2, learn the power of saying no. You see, many people are so exhausted because they never learned this one word. Saying no doesn't make you selfish. It makes you self-aware. A healthy response would be something like, "Oh, I appreciate the invite, but I cannot commit to it right now. Maybe next time." Number 3, guard your heart. You see, the book of Proverbs 4 verse 23, it says, "Above all else, guard your heart." This means guarding your values, your emotional energy, and your spiritual health. You see, not everyone should have the same level of access to your life. Some people belong in your inner circle, some people belong in the outer circle, and that's okay. All right, now let's talk about the balance between love and strength, because many people think they have to either choose between being kind or being strong. But the truth is, the most powerful people in the world are both. You can be warm but firm. You can be loving but honest. You can be friendly but still set boundaries. You see, true maturity is learning to stand in your identity while still being able to show compassion to others. So here's the truth I want you to remember. Being friendly doesn't mean losing your voice, sacrificing your peace, or abandoning your values. You can love people without living for their approval. And when you learn that balance, something powerful happens. I'm talking about your kindness then becomes a strength instead of a weakness. Your relationships become healthier. And you also get to keep your peace. Now, I got a question for you. Have you ever felt like you were being too nice and started losing yourself? Well, drop boundaries in the comment if you're still learning to protect your peace while still trying to love others. As always, I hope this message helped at least one person. I will be back at you again tomorrow with another one. Until then, I need you to keep your head on a swivel, love yourself, and only help who wants to be helped. I love y'all. I'm out.